Do we need to start having conversations about Cade, man? Do we need to start having conversations about Cade, man? Or is it too soon? If it's too soon, just tell me that. Just tell me that. I was very, if there was one thing I was wrong going into the season, I was very, very wrong about Cade, man. I thought this was 2 years ago, Shea. This was going to be that season for Cade. I think Cade is just not the player that I thought he was going to be. I thought he was going to be more so like a Luka type of player. But when I watch him play, I think he's more of a Paul George type of player. And what the Pistons are doing is putting Paul George at the point guard, and this is not working out. I just don't think Cade's passing ability is like that. Now, still a lot of time left. I'm not gonna say he's a bust or anything like that, but I think we just need to tamper down the expectations as to what type of player Cade actually is essentially what I'm saying. So, shout out to the score for the video, man.
Even for bad teams, the start of a new season is supposed to bring with it renewed hope. Well, the Detroit Pistons didn't get the memo. Despite a stockpile of young talent collected over the years, the Pistons appear just as far from relevance and contention today as they were when this rebuild started. And the play of their most prized prospect hasn't helped.
Damn. Nice ass animation.
The Pistons didn't need to be good or even make a play-in leap this year.
Yo, shout out to Hero Form for the 4 months, man. Appreciate you.
But fans in the Motor City were understandably expecting the team to take some baby steps forward. This is a franchise coming off a league-worst 17 wins last season. This is an organization 5 years removed from the last time they even cracked 30 wins in a season or made the playoffs.
Damn.
8 years removed from its last winning campaign, a club that has made the postseason just twice over the last 14 years, and one that hasn't won a single playoff game.
Yo, Tiny Moses still want beef. This motherfucker still want beef.
Since 2008.
Yikes.
The Pistons spent the bulk of that time wandering the wilderness of NBA mediocrity. Nowhere near good enough to compete, but just good enough to avoid the top of the lottery. That changed upon the team's high-profile hiring of former Thunder exec Troy Weaver in 2020, with the front office finally ready to stomach a full-scale rebuild. In addition to inheriting the 7th pick in the 2020 draft, Weaver's Pistons accumulated a ton of youngsters over the years, thanks to their own on-court performance and a number of trades. By the time the 2023-24 season tipped off, Detroit had 8 players on its roster that had been selected in the first round of the last 4 drafts.
They're low-key like the modern-day 76ers, man. Low-key. Like, they're just trying to stockpile on as many high draft picks as possible, and you know what I'm saying, trying to get the high draft picks that didn't fail for other teams, so let's see if they can work out for us type of players. And I don't think it's working, to be honest with you. I don't think it's working, but we'll definitely see.
What the team is now learning is that it's virtually impossible to adequately develop and optimize that many prospects at one time.
Cade,
they traded Sadiq Bey, a productive youngster perfectly suited to be a role player on competitive teams, to take a flyer on James Wiseman a year after taking a flyer on Marvin Bagley, and now have both in the same front court as Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren. Killian Hayes was blocking Jaden Ivey's playing time and development, while Hayes and Ivey also have to share a backcourt with rookie sharpshooter Marcus Sasser, who, for some reason, was recently getting less playing time than Kevin Knox.
I can't keep track.
You said they got filler drafts similar to how Spurs got filler rings. Listen, man, I'm glad people are seeing the light with that take. That's all I gotta say, man. I'm glad people are seeing the light with that take. Omar is on board with that take. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, it's cool. They're opportunists, and it's fine. Opportunists opportunize. So, Buzz, you want to say hi to the stream? Real quick? Say hi. Hell yeah.
of all those people.
It's one thing if the Pistons were balancing future development with winning in the present, but that's clearly not the case here. Detroit continues to embarrass itself on the court while young players get lost in the shuffle and trade values deteriorate. After an encouraging opening week, the Pistons have lost 12 straight to once again plummet to the bottom of the standings.
12 is crazy. I didn't see 12, man. Again, I didn't have high expectations for the Pistons this season, but at least like competing for a play-in seed, a play-in spot. 12 in a row is crazy, bro. That's crazy. And they're at like 15 now. Yeah. This video was uploaded earlier this week. And right now, let me double check. It's at 16 right now. Their losing streak is more than the Spurs, and the Spurs have lost 13 straight, bro. Like, goddamn. Celtics got the segregation filler rings, LMAO. Hey, said on the pod yesterday, two things can be true. ASAP Aki, when we gonna start looking at draft prospects, souls. It might be the time. I ain't gonna lie. It might be the time. I think this season I want to be more informed going into the NBA draft. And I still can't find the time in my schedule to watch full college basketball games, let alone all NBA games. But I'm gonna at least watch some videos. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna at least watch some videos, watch some highlights of these players to be more informed than what I was last year. So that's what I'm doing. Spurs have their own draft pick next year. I believe they do. That's why they're tanking. Gotta wait for college basketball conference play at least. Ron Holland looks nice. Mikey Williams next up for real. Mikey Williams just got out of jail. So is it too early to predict who's gonna win MVP? I don't think so. Right now, I'd probably still go Jokic, but Jokic does not have a stronghold on that award right now, to be honest with you.
With their last two losses particularly nasty affairs. A day after losing by 29 in Toronto, the Pistons dropped a home game to a Murray-less Nuggets squad that also lost Nikola Jokic and head coach Michael Malone to first-half ejections. Remarkably, this marks Detroit's third losing streak of
Hey, the Nuggets might just be cold with or without Jokic and fucking Jamal Murray, man. Because if y'all saw that game they had versus the Clippers this last week, where they didn't have Murray or Jokic, and Reggie Jackson put up 35 and 13, and like DeAndre Jordan put up like, what was it, 23, 12 and 5? Yeah, the Nuggets just might got that system. No cap. No win November is crazy. Hot take: LeBron James is winning the MVP. That's a hot take. I wouldn't say it's a L. I wouldn't say it's a W. I think the Lakers need to win way more than what they're doing right now for LeBron to actually be in that conversation. So,
at least 11 games over the team's last 40 contests dating back to last season. A stretch that has seen the Pistons go 4-36. The city's football team has more wins in 2023 despite playing 45 less games.
Chat, that's bad. Chat, that's bad. Chat, that's really bad, bro. Chat, that's really, really bad, bro. Holy shit.
To be fair, the Pistons have lost more games to injury than any other team so far this season, with veterans Bojan Bogdanovic and Joe Harris spending most, if not all, of the young season on the sidelines. The absence of those vet shooters, particularly Bogdanovic, has cramped Detroit's offense and made it tougher for the team's young ball handlers to operate. No one has paid the price for this lack of spacing more than Cade Cunningham, the crown jewel of the Pistons rebuild. But the excuses are also running out for the 2021 numbers.
Bro, why do YouTube numbers go up by 20 once NBA come on the screen, man? Y'all YouTube guys is funny, man. Y'all YouTube guys is
overall
funny.
pick.
Okay.
Sure, the 22-year-old had injuries limit his playing time and development over his first two seasons.
Man.
The offensive environment around him is far from ideal. And Monty Williams' $12 million a year system has thus far looked unimaginative. But the Pistons have to be low-key disappointed by their supposed franchise player. Cunningham's box score numbers are fine. Roughly 21 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds per game. But the underlying numbers and the eye test paint an uglier picture. For a player of his size who has the ball in his hands as often as Cade does, his offensive impact just doesn't add up. Though he gets to the rim and draws fouls at decent clips, he doesn't do either at an elite enough level to overcome his other limitations. According to Cleaning the Glass, the third-year player is in the 13th percentile among wings when it comes to finishing at the rim, the 46th percentile as a mid-range shooter, and the 21st percentile from deep. He also can't deal with double teams yet and generally just turns the ball over way too often, with plenty of unforced turnovers that can't be explained by a cramped floor. Among the 20 players with 30-plus usage rates this season, Cunningham owns the highest turnover rate, having coughed the ball up on more than 18% of his possessions.
I heard Cade has a crazy turnover problem. Cade right now is averaging 4.5 turnovers a game, chat. And low key, people don't even bug about turnovers anymore. And it's kind of just been accepted that with the best players in the league having the ball in their hands, the pace, high usage rate, people don't bug on turnover problems anymore. But still, 4.5 turnovers a game is bad. That's extremely bad. And it's not being like I ain't gonna lie, I'd forgive 4.5 turnovers a game if it was being offset by Tyrese's 13 to 16 assists. I'd forgive that. But seven ain't cutting it. seven is not cutting it, man. And if you see a lot of these turnovers is just careless. Careless turnovers. He's trying to dot it in pockets that he just can't fucking dot it in. I think again, this is a conversation about just being more realistic with what type of player Cade is. And I think Cade is a player that needs to focus on his scoring more than his passing. I think we thought Cade going into the draft was more so going to be a Luka hybrid type of player, a more athletic Luka, black Luka, as some have even touted him to be. But nah, I think his play style should actually be more like Tatum and Paul George, to be honest with you. Specifically Paul George.
The other end of the floor, Cade's defense has regressed with time rather than improved. He gets blown by now more than he ever did as a rookie, while his steal, block, and rebound rates have plummeted.
That ain't no progress.
Say what you will about the bad breaks the Pistons have been dealt and the overall promise of the team's youth. Thompson is light years ahead of the average rookie on the defensive end. Duren looked great to start the year. Ivy has his moments, and Sasser can definitely shoot. But Detroit's future is in Cade Cunningham's hands. If he doesn't ascend to the type of superstardom the franchise envisioned for him, the Pistons' rebuild will have been a soul-crushing waste of time for long-suffering fans.
Yeah, there's certain players like that in the league, man. Players in the league that aren't ass. All right, let me clarify that right now. These players aren't ass, but their teams drafted them to be stars that they were supposed to be, and what they've shown so far, it looks like they might just not be that guy. Still good players, but just not that guy. I think another example of this in the past was Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins, great player, but for that Cat and Andrew Wiggins, Zach LaVine era to work, Andrew Wiggins needed to take a leap that he just wasn't that guy. Andrew Wiggins was supposed to be a top 20, top 10 player in the league for that duo to work, but he just wasn't that guy. I think another more recent example is Zion Williamson. The Pelicans are a good team. Zion is still arguably a great player. He's a good player. But for the Pelicans to get where they want to be, they don't need to make any trade. They don't need to move any pieces. Zion just needs to be that guy, and he just might not be that guy. I think for the Pistons, it's the same thing. They got a lot of players and a lot of pieces that are nice as fuck. But for this ship to actually go to where they want it to go, they don't need to make more trades. They just need to continue developing, but specifically Cade needs to be that guy. And is Cade actually that guy? I don't know. It's kind of like if Tatum never took that leap to being a 30-point per game scorer and he just stayed at that 22, 24 point per game mark, I don't know what the fuck the Celtics should or would be doing right now. You know? So it's interesting though. It's an interesting conversation.